world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Sorry about that. I was kind of off there, but off with the music there, but that's okay. How's everybody doing tonight? How are we doing? Welcome in, welcome in. I don't know if you can see this down here, but this is the cutest thing ever. They're sleeping together, and you can't see them because the camera is like cuts them off, and I don't know how to move the camera, but they're both sitting like that. They look so stinking cute. They look so cute. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, I got 2 dogs back there. 2 dogs. 2 of them. So, and yeah, they've been with me all day, it seems like. But that's okay. You know, I love them. I love it that way. But they're sleeping now. They're sleeping, and they have the blanket off of the chair. I noticed that earlier. I thought that was pretty funny. Raya decided she wanted that, so that was hers. So. But welcome into the channel. Let me actually do something really quick because we had to take everything down. Okay, I might just be lost. I'll probably be lost a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to fix this screen really quick over here. So my camera wasn't working, but before we get to that, I'll tell you my name. Hello, hi, welcome. My name is Tanya, or Titanium Built. Well, this is Titanium Built, the channel. My name is Tanya. How about that? And thank you guys all for being here tonight. I'm just trying to fix the screen over here. It's just messing me up. But welcome in, everybody. Get comfortable, grab your snacks. I'm sure you probably already done that. You're probably like, hey, we've been waiting on you, lady. But no, my camera wouldn't turn on for some reason. It just wouldn't turn on. Like, it was turning on, but it wasn't turning on through StreamYard, I should say. So that really kind of stunk. But I'm here now. So let's see who's in the chat. I'll fix the chat in case anybody wants to, like, you know, look at this while we're doing the live. We're going to talk about some Idaho 4 content tonight. I've had some like little windows down here saved for some stuff. We're going to go through it. I'll also have another body cam video out tomorrow. It just came out the other day, so it'll be relatively new compared to the other ones. So I had them earlier. I just didn't post them because I kept forgetting. But hello. So, so I deleted the last live. If you're wondering, like, what happened, for some reason, the last live, it double booked, like it double lived me for some reason. I didn't even know you could do that, but I guess you can. So that's why I just deleted them all and I started over. I was hoping we didn't have to do that a second ago. So what is going on here? I have like a piece of cat hair in my mouth. You know the animals. But welcome in, everybody. Hey, Ladybug. No, that was just me. So I'm sorry about your comments. I'm sorry. You probably were writing some sweet comments too. Everyone was probably writing each other, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, where'd she go? Is she coming back? Hey, Kitsy Cats. Hey, Princess. Hey, Casey. That's probably what everyone was thinking. Like, I came in to say hello. Hey, Bree. Hey, Mary Beth. It's good to see ya. Legs itching. Catherine, welcome in. Did you have a good turkey day? Did everyone have a good Thanksgiving? There's so many. Yeah, there's a lot of notifications. And I think I'm going to try to put at the end of the live, because I can't do it, I don't think, until after the live. but put it in mobile at the end of it. That way you guys will know which was the mobile one and which one's not the mobile one, vertical and not vertical. But if you are over in the vertical live and you want to get to the not vertical live, I guess it's horizontal live. I'm in the vertical live. Then all you have to do is just either click the like button and go to your liked videos, and it'll be right there. And you just click the video and it'll take you back to like this other, universe that you know and love. Or you can save it to your save now and go to your save now videos. So I've heard it both ways, but I'm going to try to go over to this one, I think. Or wait, which one is it? This one. Yeah. There's chat over here. I'll just be peeking in both of them. Well, there's Ashley. Look at that. Happy Saturday. Hey, Caught Up in Crime. How you doing? It feels like a Saturday. I went out and ran a couple errands, and it felt like a Saturday out there. A Saturday with, people shopping. We adopted a rescue puppy from Georgia. He's a Rottweiler mix. Ooh, I bet that's a pretty dog. His mom was Alma Rottweiler, and his dad was a lab. Oh, he's handful, but thankfully so stinking cute. Oh, too much. I bet you so cute. I bet you adorable. I had a Rottweiler for about 2 seconds. And my mom was like, I was like, but I love this puppy. It was someone else's dog. It was a neighborhood dog. I was that kid. I saw, someone's dog running. I'm like, oh, come to my house. My mom was like, we can't keep them all. I would try. Hey, Boone. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Tempest. I hope you're doing good, Boone. My Thanksgiving was pretty good. It was pretty chilled. It was actually very chill, I like that. And chowing on pumpkin pie. Oh, Catherine, that's so nice. And I bet you she's missed you too. And did she go out on Wednesday? Is that like a thing in Jersey? But because it is in Ohio. Does anybody else remember? I don't know if y'all remember your college days, but the day before Thanksgiving was the day to go out and party your little tail off. Just party it up. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. It was the biggest day to go out on top, out of any day in the whole year, even on top of New Year's, on top of all the days. Hey, Elser one. How you doing? How was your Thanksgiving, Elser? Bursting with love and kids. That's so nice. And puppies. Hey there. Is it Raz? The Raz Fazio? I can't say it. I can't, but hello there. We'll get it one of these days. my brain just don't compute. I think that's really funny though. Well, welcome in. If I missed you on my way through, say hey, you missed me. Hey, Tossed Penny. Is it Miss Frenchie? Welcome in, Frenchie. All too well. My Thanksgiving was good. It was very relaxed. We normally go to my brother's, and there's kids and all the craziness, and I did miss that. I did miss the noise, but just having a chill. We ate here and we just hung out. It was fine. And then Vincent hurt his back last night making a cake. So if you guys could say a prayer for him, yeah, he's hurting. Now, I don't know if this is man hurt or if this is real hurt, but he hasn't been able to move. So I think he's pretty hurt. Hey, Crystal. I don't know what he did. I was like, what were you doing? He was like, I was just baking the cake. I think he said he dropped something. He bent down to pick it up. So I think he pulled something. I've been giving him Advil, and I've been giving him the heating pad because he was in the bed. Then he was like, I don't want to lay here. So then we went to the couch. I've been chasing him around with the heating pad. So if you guys are praying, people just be like, let Vincent's back get better, because I'm not good at this stuff, like cooking and all this stuff, which he won't let me cook. He somehow gets out of bed for that. Jet Set's lurking in the background. Oh, going through your Christmas ornaments. We did that last night or the night before. Was it night before or last night? I can't remember now. But we put our trees up. We got our different pottery flowers. I just went to a friend's party. Yeah, about to say it's the biggest night. I remember. I remember it so well. Oh, you don't have Thanksgiving in Australia? Well, you know, you could make your own holiday if you wanted to. I mean, we shouldn't have it here, really. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's a weird holiday, you know. It says there's a DeFazio. Am I saying that right now? Thanks, Ladybug. Ladybug will spell it out for me. Aries, I didn't think you would show your face in this chat. I know Ohio State won. I said, well, Aries won't be in the chat tonight. But Vincent in the beginning, he was like, what's going on? And I said, Vincent, Ohio State plays well second half. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows. Your plans are ruined. Oh, I'm sorry. They used to be the biggest drinking party. Yeah, I think it sure still is. I don't know. Maybe we should all go out. Wouldn't that be something? 40-year-olds crashing the bar. We'd have to get there really early because they get there early. Remember, like you had to get there super early so you get a spot because there's so many people. Oh, that was like the thing. Back pain is the worst. I ain't gonna lie. I have back pain like every day though. I feel like because I'm always doing stuff to like agitate it, and I feel like with him he's never down. You know what I mean? So when he is down, I'm like, we got to get you back up because. And I told him that. I said, I'm the one. I already called this spot. I already called. You're taking care of me first. Well, getting older is pretty much one long backache. That's the truth. Yeah, they're not going upside down. They're going to be riding this wave for a while. Hey, Mandy. I like reading your guys' names because your guys' names are different. You want to go to Ohio? Yeah. Go to Cedar Point. I'll meet you there. The walk before dinner is your favorite part of Thanksgiving. That's funny. Oh, okay. So thank you guys all for being here. If I didn't say hello to you personally, hello. Hi, welcome in. My name is Tanya. Like I said, this is Titanium Built Channel. And tonight we're going to go over some Idaho 4 stuff that I just had kind of like, some of it's like newer, but some of it I just, kind of had sitting there like, do I play this? Do we do anything with it? Do we not? Because, obviously Bryan's in prison now, but a lot of people haven't gotten the memo with that. He said he was guilty. So a lot of people are still kind of going off of, the assumption that he's innocent. Like this case is still going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like, we're still going to a trial. We're not having a trial. We're not getting that. Unfortunately, I'm still a little wrecked about it myself. So this article came out and I read this, I think it was yesterday or day before. And I was like, what else can he complain about? Right? Like this guy complains about everything. He was complaining about the food the last time we did a live and we talked about Bryan. He was complaining about how he wasn't getting his correct portions. And I made the remark, and I still stand by this. I think they're just taking the 2 hot dogs off his plate or whatever the meat was. They're just taking that off and they're not replacing it with like some more lettuce. Another 2 shards of lettuce, whatever it is. Like I think that's what it is. And he's upset about that. Well, they decided to give him bananas. Don't do that. Don't give him bananas. He's too good for bananas. Too good. Yeah, I'm missing this piece of fruit. Yeah. I've had him on a heating pad all day. I'm like, well, this would be good. Oh, I don't have any of my stuff in order. That's fine though. It's just because everything happened with my camera. We had to switch turn the computer on and off. So Bryan's moaning about the type of bananas he gets in prison. You can't make this stuff up, it says. Even the person writing this knows you can't make this stuff up. So apparently, cold-blooded killer Bryan Kohberger is truly going bananas over his prison food. Whoever wrote this, I love them for this. There are a couple digs at the bananas. The quadruple murderer is adding yet another complaint about his life at the maximum security Idaho prison, where he's serving a life term, for whining about the unappealing bananas he's being given. Get it? Unappealing? Okay. Yeah. I didn't even make that up. That was the writer. So I can't even take credit for that one, but that was good. Kohberger, who turned 31 behind bars last week, wonder if he got any birthday cards. Probably got some handmade ones. Has been constantly complaining about conditions at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, where he's been housed for 4 months since he was sentenced to 4 lifetimes in prison after he copped to the quadruple homicide of University of Idaho students in 2022. Now he's complaining about the type of bananas he's being served. I guess Chris McDonough, the retired homicide detective who works with the Cold Case Foundation, and he has his own YouTube channel. He told the Daily Mail this. I don't know how he's getting the information, but he's getting it somehow. They're not the kind he likes, McDonough said. What kind do you like? McDonough said, I'm not sure if that means they may have bruises on them. Oh, they most definitely do. And he doesn't like that. Or if there is a particular type of banana that he likes. But he's complaining about the food he's getting. Okay, well, let's just break this down. Kohberger. I'm pretty sure the bruising on a banana, isn't that just like sugar or something like that? My mom used to tell me that. Now don't tell me my mom lied to me. But isn't that what bruising is? Like when you and it you peel it and it's still a good banana, but it has a little bit of bruising on it. I never eat it, but she used to say that. Does anyone know if that's true? Something about the sugar would be coating together. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up now. Watch it. You'll hear me scream out, "Mom, you lied." Okay, it says bruising on a banana means it has experienced mechanical damage, such as bumps or pressure, which speeds up the ripening process and causes the fruit to soften and the peel to darken. Okay, the brown spots are caused by an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase, oxidizing something compounds. Bruised bananas are generally safe to eat, though the flavor will be sweeter and the texture softer. Okay, so she wasn't lying. Something about the sweeter. Okay, that's probably what she was saying, something about it being sweeter. Okay. So it's just a sweeter banana, Kohberger. That's all. It's like a banana, candy. Just think of it like that. You can't make this stuff up, right? The guy is a quadruple killer and he's complaining about his bananas not being that type that he likes. Well, maybe he likes the kind from Albertsons and they don't get them from Albertsons. Kohberger has made at least 5 formal complaints since he arrived at the Kuna, Idaho penitentiary. So the prison staff hasn't put much stock into his latest grouse, McDonough explained. The prison is saying, well, deal with it, the ex-cop said. Yeah, they probably are. They're probably are you kidding? They're probably I got this guy down here throwing feces out the window, right, to the cell. And you're down here complaining about some bruised bananas? Or they're not your brand? I hope that's the case. That's just not the brand. The former criminology PhD student has apparently not been adjusting well to the clink and requested to be relocated to another cell when his fellow inmates launched a relentless campaign of taunts when he arrived in August. I still say they were just trying to get to know Kohberger. The neighbors would take turns yelling into the vents to his room at all hours of the day, and Kohberger whined to staff that he wasn't able to sleep, McDonough said at the time. Were you trying to sleep during the day? I mean, those inmates got to sleep sometime, right? And soon after his complaint about the harassment, Kohberger filed yet another grievance saying he was being threatened with sexual abuse. Oh yeah, he was. I don't think it was abuse per se. Okay. It was just our friend's way of saying Peru, our friend Peru's way of saying, like, welcome to prison. In August 4th letter, Kohberger claimed an inmate said he would bitch F him. And another said the only ass we'll be eating is Kohberger's. Was that all from Peru? Peru. Kohberger went before a panel of 3 during an August 12th housing placement hearing, and it was determined that he should remain separate from the general population for the protection of staff and residents, as well as for his protection, the Idaho Statesman reported at the time. He objected to the type of cell that he's in. That size cell is huge. Wait, okay. Just wait till he gets... Okay, just let him be surprised. Let him be surprised. Okay. He objected to the type of cell he's in, the size of the cell, and where it's located. Or the cell that he's in. Okay. McDonough, who during his career specialized in understanding predatory behavior, said Kohberger thinks he's earned notoriety for his crimes and entitles him to special treatment in the slammer, which means his griping may not end anytime soon. Look at that face. Kohberger is going to be pushing the envelope and pushing the boundaries as far as he can get them, McDonough said. Well, he ain't got a phone at least to take his picture. It's about power and control, the retired detective said. He was a nobody until he murdered 4 people. He was irrelevant to the world. And now he's Bryan Kohberger, who has slaughtered 4 people. And because he didn't have to stand up in court and tell the world how brutal these crimes were, he holds the cards. And he's trying to leverage that, McDonough said, to the perverse thinking. I agree with that. Kohberger in July took a surprise plea deal. Prosecutor's agreement came just weeks before his high-profile, trial was slated to kick off. And yeah, that means he skirted the possibility of receiving the death penalty. Now, do I think that's why he pled guilty? Maybe. Maybe he was scared of the death penalty, but maybe not. Probably not. Oh, also, before we get started even further, if you guys don't mind, make sure that you are liking the video, because we got to like the video. But if you guys don't mind, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, because I was looking at my numbers and it was like 42% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed. Say what? So also I'm going to put in the chat the link to the channel membership if anybody would like to help the channel out and become a member. So, okay, that's what I have for you there. We're going to go over to this. We're going to go through a little bit of his background, and then we're going to watch this podcast that I found not a while back, but it's not too far. It was published this month, so it's not, too long ago. But I don't know if you know who Candice DeLong is, but she was the host of what was it, Deadly Women on ID channel. She's like a FBI agent and criminal profiler, and she does like a profile over Bryan Kohberger. She just does a profile over the whole case. So that's what we'll be doing. Let me unpin this. I can delete or close that one. Okay. So we're learning a lot tonight. We're learning about bananas and everything else. So can't say you didn't learn something here tonight. There's Bryan there. First picture that he took, whenever he went to the jail. It says Bryan Christopher Kohberger was born on November 21st, 1994 in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, to Michael and Marianne Kohberger. Raised in Albrightsville, he grew up alongside his two older sisters, Amanda and Melissa. Kohberger attended Pleasant Valley High School, graduating in 2013. He then pursued higher education at Northampton Community College, where he earned an associate degree in psychology in 2018. Continuing his academic journey, he enrolled in DeSales University at Center Valley, Pennsylvania, earning a bachelor's degree in 2020 and a master's degree in criminal justice in 2022. During his time at DeSales, he conducted a research study focused on understanding how emotions and psychological traits influence criminal decision-making. And we went over that actually a few times. And then it's just a little timeline of Bryan prior to the murders. We're just going to go over his life prior to the murders because we know what happens pretty much after, right? But on November 21st, he's born in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. So then that was 1994. Can't believe how young he is. 2013 to 2014, Kohberger graduated from Pleasant Valley High School in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. And then he briefly attended Monroe Career and Technical Institute in Bartonsville, but dropped out a year later in 2014. And we all know why, because he was messing with people. So they put him in the HVAC. He wanted to do the criminal law or whatever, or criminal justice program where you become a cop or whatever it is. I can't remember the actual name of it. But he was messing with, as far as we've gathered, because they can't really tell us exactly what he did, but the lady was pretty much saying he was messing with girls in the class. So they had to remove him, and they removed him and put him into the HVAC class because that had mostly men in there. And yeah, he didn't like that. He said, I'm out. So then 2016 to 2018, in 2016, Kohberger enrolled at Northampton Community College and earned an associate degree in psychology. And then in 2017, while at Northampton College, he became a member of Psi Beta and also was student peer supporter. Well, would love to hear from some of the students that you peer supported. Would love that. Actually, let me look at that source. Yeah, it's right here. How do I zoom in? I got so much stuff on my laptop, but I want to read this to you guys. Just move everything off of there. It's so small. It's the tiniest writing I've ever seen in my life. And I know I've seen this. Is it not going to? Of course it's not going to. Okay. I don't know if I can read that. The closer I get to it. The more it gets, or I can't read. Students, okay, so students are encouraged to attend and help orchestrate events which aim towards spreading awareness of issues which pertain to psychology. It gives students of 2-year community college an opportunity to expand their love for psychology through seeing a part of the organization geared towards accomplishing just that. An important aspect of my experience in, is it Psi Beta? Involved something, awareness of hidden disabilities, which are not uncommon yet often misunderstood. Well, we all know if there was something wrong with one of these people, he wouldn't want to help them. So we all know that. I mean, He's pretty much said that himself. But I cannot read that to save my soul. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep this. I'm going to pin this and I'm going to print it so I can read it to you guys sometime. Because I want to read it. I think I've seen it before. I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but I think I've only seen it once, and that was probably way back when. But 2018 to 2020, in 2018, he continued his studies at DeSale University in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in 2020. Looks like part of that was probably done through COVID, like during COVID. 2018, he also participated in the research on the Hidden People Research Project. It says Hidden Disabilities. Hidden People Research Project. I'm trying to see what it is. Let me see. Maybe if I put like this whole thing in. Okay, so it's a National Honor Society in Psychology. I'm trying to see. Like, what is it? Okay, so you're not going out there. Psi Beta, a National Honor Society for psychology students at community colleges, was established in 1982 by Ruth Hubbard Cousins and Jeremy Rudman at El Camino College. Oh, I love that. I would have totally went to El Camino College if I knew that was around. It acknowledges students' excellence in scholarships, leaderships, research, and community service. Huh? Well, we know he wasn't a leader. Maybe he could do some research. I don't know. And I don't think he would be doing some community service. I mean, he just didn't like people. But it says membership criteria include a 3.25 GPA. Oh, I could be there. Or B in high or higher in psychology. And 12 completed college credits. And it offers service, learning, research, and peer mentoring programs affiliated with the APA and APS. Members can access student memberships. Okay. Wow. Look at that. Okay. So then 2018, Kohberger works as a security guard for Pleasant Valley School District in Broadheadsville, where his mother was listed as a paraprofessional. Kohberger was hailed a hero by Pocono Record newspaper for his actions in helping a colleague suffering a medical emergency. They didn't really make him a hero. They made the other guy, to be fair. 2020 to 2022. In 2020, Kohberger enrolled in a master's program at DeSales University in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, and graduated with his master's degree in criminal justice in 2022. While he was at DeSales University in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, he became a member of Psi Chi. I think I'm saying that, or Psi Chi. I'm going to look this up. Is this one of these weird, like fraternities or? Yeah, it is. It's the International Honor Society in Psychology. And students must first and foremost rank in the top 35% of their graduating class, which is typically a 3.2 or higher. Okay, it was established in 1929 to promote scholarships and advance the field of psychology. So he was trying to get them scholarships. You know, I mean, and I would be too if I was trying to get out of my hometown, right? I won't say nothing bad about that, but so then May 5th, 2020, final assignment on crime scene scenario was completed, and then completed graduate studies in May 2022. So 2021, August 27th, 2021, left Pleasant Valley School District. January 10th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger purchased a black balaclava from Dick's Sporting Goods. March, says match, 31st, 2022, Bryan Kohberger wrote application essay for a graduate research assistantship for public safety. He submitted the research curriculum via application. April 2022, Chief Jenkins conducted Zoom interviews with Bryan Kohberger and other candidates for the police internship. Kohberger, then 27, wrote in his application that he had an interest in assisting Royal law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. The chief said whoever got the job would need to be able to get police officers to open up and talk about their work. Kohberger's demeanor ruled him out from getting the position. I just felt that he would have a difficult time developing that trust with my staff. He seemed a little bit awkward in talking. He wasn't very conversational. And I just thought he would not be a good fit and would have difficulty working with my staff. Can't even fake it till you make it. I've never went into a job interview and walked out and didn't get that job. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to know the questions they were asking Bryan. I mean, like, why wasn't he being conversational? Like, what made him not conversational? Was he not like giving you anything back when you're asking him questions? Was he just being like silent? I mean, that could be weird. But if he didn't go over and above to talk to him, I don't see that as weird. I mean, I do that sometimes. Sometimes I have to fill in the dead space though. There's people that will sit there and they can live in the dead space, right? They don't care. But me, I like to fill it. I feel weird whenever there's like dead air. So June 2022, Kohberger moved to Pullman, Washington. And I wonder when exactly he decided to make the move. Like, I wonder how that sit down went. We've never really talked about that. Like, I wonder how that sit down went with his parents, right? They're his only boy. He's the baby. And he tells his mom and dad, hey, Pullman, Washington? Pullman, Washington, across the country. Pullman, yeah. I want to go there for school. Like, I wonder how that worked. Maybe his parents were like, yeah, go ahead and try it. And then when he tried it, it worked. Maybe they didn't think he was going to be able to do it. Maybe they didn't think he would be able to pay for it. And he got these scholarships and stuff and was able to pay for it. But I'm just wondering, I'm just curious. Okay, so then July, well, I think he moved there in June, but, lived at the Steptoe Village Apartments, graduate student housing on the WSU campus. I'm pretty sure that his dad probably went out there with him. Yeah, we all know that because he asked the kid to be friends with him. He asked Christian to be friends with Bryan. They probably went out there together and he probably bought some furniture and they probably bought like everything for the apartment. And then his dad probably stayed a night or two and then left or whatever. Maybe his mom came too. I doubt it. Cause I mean, I don't know, but maybe she did. But I'm pretty sure his dad probably went out with him because of the, Christian saying that they had that interaction. So August 2022, he began his first semester as a PhD student. I mean, I think he probably knew what he was doing back then, but just imagine in August, you're going into class to be a PhD, student. You're getting your doctorate. And instead, are you thinking back then like, hey, I'm going to murder people in 3 months? I mean, I'm just curious. He took classes and he worked as a teaching assistant in WSU's Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology. He suckered someone into giving him that position, right? I mean, he had like 13 different write-ups on him. So on August 21st, 2022, he recorded his first trip to the area. 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. Kohberger's phone, 8458, utilized cellular resources, providing coverage to the King Road residents. At 11:37 p.m. that night, Kohberger was stopped by the Latah County Sheriff's Department, Corporal Duke. His phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time frame. So late October, early November, continued TA studies at WSU, allegedly became more disengaged, grading erratically, and receiving complaints from students. Phone data and surveillance footage later showed Kohberger was in the vicinity of the victim's house multiple times in the weeks leading up to the murder, sometimes late at night or early morning. And I think that's all I got. We'll go through the traffic stop. So, okay. Look at those eyes, though. He knew right then and there. Look at that. I think he thought, I'm screwed. They figured me out. And then he probably said, where are you guys from? What? And then he probably was like, oh, then he relaxed. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I think. Okay. So let's go over here and pull up Candice DeLong. I am going to put pictures in front of this podcast because I still have the pictures on my computer because I haven't got the heart to delete them yet. I can only have so many pictures though on my computer, so I have to delete them eventually. But I'll be in the chat with y'all, chit-chatting about this case. And I'm going to pause it for a commentary and everything. But so basically she's just going to go over the whole, kind of like the whole case. Shut my computer. But yeah, she's just going to like kind of go over the whole case and give her opinion on what happened and what went down. So I will put, like I said, I'll put some overlays up. That way you guys have something to look at and you're not just staring at me or, you know, the black screen, because that wouldn't be fun. But actually, let me go back because I forgot I was playing this earlier. Maybe that'll let me. Maybe I need to redo it.
Academically.
Okay, now go back. It was only like 2 minutes in all. I was on my phone listening to it. I thought I was on here. Okay. So any of the commercials, I'll skip through them as well. And if you have any questions over anything, let me know in the chat. If anybody has a difference of an opinion on this case, let me know. I'd love to hear your theory. Love to hear your theory. And yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get started.
Hey there, Killer Psyche listeners. Ever wonder what really drives someone to kill?
Mm-mm.
Join us
I don't.
in Alfred Hitchcock's. He recreates her, dressing her every move. Control, power, and the connected was what the same qualities that once made him seem curious and disciplined may have
I thought this was a commercial.
graveyards. He studies her every move until he is not just in love with her, he is obsessed. When she dies, he does not grieve her. He recreates her, dressing another woman in the same clothes, the same hair, the same falls to her death. Scotty's need for control kills the woman he claimed to. A man named Bryan Kohberger becomes a mirror instead of a person. Yet decades later, in a quiet college town in Idaho, that one named Scotty Ferguson falls in love with a woman he
We're gonna go back because
hey there,
I forgot this was the way that she started it out. I didn't listen to the first half today because I had listened to it like almost a month ago, and then I'm now listening to it again. So that's why I was like, is this a commercial or what? Okay, so it wasn't a commercial. It was just her telling a story before the story, or before the case.
Killer Psyche listeners, ever wonder what really drives someone to kill? Join us on Patreon and get early access to new episodes, exclusive deep dive episodes that take you further into the minds of the most dangerous criminals, and ad-free listening. A listener note, this episode contains adult content and is not suitable for everyone. Please be advised. In Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller Vertigo, a man named Scotty Ferguson falls in love with a woman he does not really know. He watches her from afar. He follows her through the city, across bridges, into flower shops, through graveyards. He studies her every move until he is not just in love with her, he is obsessed. When she dies, he does not grieve her. He recreates her, dressing another woman in the same clothes, the same hair, the same perfume. He commands her to become the ghost he cannot let go. Because to Scotty, love is not about connection. It is about control. But in forcing her to live as his fantasy, Scotty destroys her. His obsession drives her to the edge, literally. And in the film's final moments, she falls to her death. Scotty's need for control kills the woman he claimed to love. That is fiction, of course. A film about obsession, power, and the male gaze gone mad. It is a warning about what happens when desire replaces empathy, when a woman becomes a mirror instead of a person. Yet decades later, in a quiet college town in Idaho, that warning became real. A man named Bryan Kohberger, socially isolated, academically brilliant, but deeply connected, was watching too. Watching people he did not know, studying their habits, learning their vulnerabilities. And in November of 2022, in the early hours before dawn, 4 students at the University of Idaho were slaughtered in their home. Police say Kohberger's fascination with criminology and control, the same qualities that once made him seem curious and disciplined, may have turned into something else, an obsession so dark and depersonalized that it ended in bloodshed. Hitchcock's Scotty destroyed the woman he claimed to love because he could not see her as real. Bryan Kohberger did the same thing, not out of love, but from the same cold void where empathy and human connection should live. From Wondery and Treefort Media, I'm Candice DeLong, and this is the 5th season of Killer Psyche. For 5 decades, I studied people's minds through my work as an FBI profiler and psychiatric nurse. I've interviewed countless murderers, including many serial killers. Why did they do it? To get a satisfying answer, we have to dive deep into their minds so that I can give you my best analysis of what made them do what they did. This episode is Bryan Kohberger, the University of Idaho killer. Killer Psyche is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it
Listeners,
friends. Kaylee Gonzalez. November 13th, 2022 was a Saturday night in Moscow.
We're just now getting to like where they're starting the case, but that's funny. She already had a dang ad.
Oh, Idaho. The kind that looked like any other in a quiet college town. Two best friends, Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan, spent the evening downtown, laughing and taking selfies as they bar hopped their way to the corner club. A little before 2 a.m., they stopped to get food at the grub truck, the kind of late-night ritual that feels safe, familiar, even comforting. A few blocks away, their roommate Xana Kernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin were leaving a nearby fraternity party. They make their way back to the gray-sided house at 1122 King Road, a home shared by 6 University of Idaho students. By around 2 a.m., all 6 are back under the same roof. Then, sometime after 4 a.m., a food delivery arrives. One last late-night snack for Xana as she scrolls through TikTok. The house, nestled in the dark quiet of King Road, seems still. But inside, something unspeakable is about to begin. Outside, a white Hyundai Elantra circles the neighborhood, headlights dipped. The car slows, lingers, returns. Then it stops. 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger steps out of the vehicle and approaches the sliding glass door of the kitchen. A quick scan. No voices. No movement in the open rooms. Just the low mechanical hum a sleeping house makes. Kohberger enters the house. He moves quietly up the stairs, past the kitchen, to the 3rd floor. Madison and Kaylee are asleep in the same bed, unaware of the danger now standing in their doorway. The attack is swift and devastatingly intimate. In the darkness, he raises a military-style fixed-blade knife known as a K-bar. He stabs Madison and Kaylee dozens of times, most wounds to the face, neck, and chest. Experts later estimate that Kaylee alone sustained more than 35 stab wounds. Her facial bones were shattered, her skull fractured in 2 places. Grim evidence that she may have tried to fight back. But in the chaos, Kohberger leaves behind one thing he does not notice, a knife sheath.
If those, I mean, her injuries were very severe, right? Then, in my opinion, I think he was using the butt of that knife, like to hit her with. I mean, I think he was still holding the knife like you normally would hold it, but I think he was taking like the butt of it and just, unfortunately, just taking it hard to her head and to her face. And apparently, we've heard that he was a boxer before, so I'm sure he, and she was, maybe half asleep. I still think she was in her room, but I think that he still stunned her either way. Seeing somebody over top of your best friend with a weapon, that's going to stun you.
Dropped beside Madison's bed. At 4:17 a.m., a security camera less than 50 feet from Xana Kernodle's room captures the muffled barking of Kaylee's dog, followed by faint voices, a whimper, and then a heavy thud. As he descends the staircase, Kohberger encounters Xana. There is a moment of shock, confusion, then violence. The attack is frenzied, deliberate, and merciless. Kohberger's knife slices through the quiet of the house as he stabs her more than 50 times before turning toward Ethan, who is asleep in Xana's room. Ethan is killed by a catastrophic wound that severs his jugular vein. The force of the blow sends blood spattering across the walls and floor, a scene so gruesome that even veteran investigators would later struggle to describe it. Down the hall, their roommate Dylan Mortensen hears...
those are some wounds right? I mean, we've discussed this case for years. We know the wounds were bad, but like he must have been really mad, in my opinion. Like that's anger at Kaylee and Xana. I think that Ethan, I don't think that he really, I don't think it was overkill per se, but I mean, I think they were all overkill in my opinion, but I think he got him where he knew it would be the most fatal, the fastest.
There's a male voice quietly saying, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." She cracks her door once, then again. The third time, she sees him. A tall figure dressed in black, a mask covering his nose and mouth, and thick, bushy eyebrows visible above it. Kohberger looks her in the eye, but spares her as he moves toward the back exit. Frozen in fear, Dylan locks her door and hides. Dylan was terrified, and when terror arrives without warning, the brain bargains. Maybe it is an argument, a prank, a bad dream. Freezing is not failure, it is physiology. She froze and then became gripped for hours by traumatic shock. The house falls quiet again. Kohberger exits the way he came, in and out in minutes. His car pulls away into the pre-dawn cold. Just before 4:30 a.m., the two surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany.
Let's go over that really quick, actually. Let me see if I can scroll back up here a minute right here. Just because, some people, they don't know. Okay. So if you don't know this, if you don't know, now you know. Okay. So it says here that they did some timed runs and they did a quick run and then they did a deliberate run, right? So the quick run was the path followed rapidly with strike simulations. So basically what they did was they went upstairs to the third floor. They checked Kaylee's bedroom. Then they went into Maddie's room and they pretended like Maddie and Kaylee was in Maddie's bed. And then they returned downstairs or, went downstairs to Xana Kernodle's bedroom where, she fought back before being killed and Ethan was killed in the bed. So then he exits through the sliding glass door, which was left partially open, and returned to his vehicle. When they did this on a quick run, right? Quick run, just going straight in, knowing where everything's at, getting in, getting out. It was only 1 minute and 30 seconds. So he could have done this within 1 minute, 30 seconds. The deliberate run, path followed slowly, simulating stealth movements. That total time was 2 minutes and 33 seconds. The short direct path to his car, 30 seconds walking, 6 to 7 seconds running. The longer path, a minute walking, 10 to 12 seconds running. So he could have completed the murders in as little as 2 minutes, 6 seconds, or up to 3 minutes, 45 seconds at a slower path or slower rate. Very crazy.
Funk are texting back and forth from inside their rooms in the house. They grow increasingly frightened as their calls and texts to the 4 victims go unanswered. After some time, Bethany tells Dylan to run down to her room, and Dylan does. Hours pass. The two remain behind closed doors, scared and unsure what they have heard. Around 11:58 a.m., they call 911. When police arrive, they find what no one in Moscow, Idaho will ever forget. Blood has seeped through the walls, pooling beneath the siding and into the frozen ground outside. Inside, the bodies of 4 young students, full of promise and plans, lay where they had fallen. 4 lives brutally extinguished. Moscow goes still. Classes are canceled, students leave town, and rumors fill the vacuum where answers should be. Investigators begin with what they have: a house, a timeline, and a car on camera. The white Elantra appears again and again near the scene around the time of the murders. Moscow police asked the authorities to look out for white Elantras. And by November 29, a search found a car that matched that description registered to Bryan Kohberger, a criminology PhD student at Washington State University, 10 miles away. Cell phone data filled in what investigators already suspected. This was not Bryan Kohberger's first time near King Road. His phone had pinged in the area at least a dozen times before the murders, often late at night, and as far back as August. He had not stumbled upon that house. He had been watching it. During the critical window of the murders, Kohberger's phone data revealed a calculated pattern. In the hours before the attack, his phone traveled toward Moscow, but from 2:47 a.m. to 4:48 a.m., it went completely dark. Either turned off or switched to airplane mode, it was a deliberate digital silence, an effort to conceal his movements while the murders took place. Then, just 5 hours later, the phone reappeared. At 9 a.m., it pinged near the King Road neighborhood again, leading investigators to conclude that Kohberger had returned to the area shortly after the killings, possibly to observe police response or confirm what he had done. Next came the DNA. On the knife sheath left beside Madison Mogen's body, analysts found a single male profile, not in any database, but too specific to ignore. Investigators turned to genetic genealogy, building a family tree that led them across the country to Kohberger's quiet home in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
I wonder if, when did Bryan graduate? 2022. He should have known better. But I was thinking, what if he didn't know? What if he didn't think about like genetic genealogy, right? Like, what if he didn't think about that? I know when I went to school for criminal justice, they didn't teach us that, but that was way back. That was some years ago. So, you know, I'm 21 though, but no. So I was wondering if maybe Bryan didn't think about the IgG and he just assumed since his DNA wasn't in like any databases because he had never been in trouble for like a felony where they would put his, you know, DNA into the CODIS database. Maybe he thought that that was one way he was going to get away with stuff.
There, agents conducted covert trash collection.
Especially in a house as, you know, not to be rude, but as messy and probably full of male DNA. Because they had parties and stuff there.
Testing discarded items for DNA. The results confirmed a familial match, Kohberger's father. It was enough for an arrest. On December 30th, 2022, just before dawn, a SWAT team entered the Kohberger family home. In the kitchen, they found Bryan Kohberger wearing latex gloves, methodically sorting trash into Ziploc bags. He did not resist. He was taken into custody and placed under arrest. In that moment, the killer finally had a name. But the question that haunted everyone, the why, was still unanswered. Who was Bryan Kohberger? And how does a man who studies criminal behavior become one? Long before he ever stepped into that house on King Road, there were signs. Faint at first, then nearly impossible to ignore.
Everyone wants to be stronger, not just physically, but in every part of life. Strength gains and
access to HBO Max paid. Now the hard one is trying.
Anne worked in the local school to children. Bryan Christopher Kohberger was born on November 21st, 1994, in Pennsylvania's Pocono Mountains, the youngest of 3 children. He grew up with his two older sisters, Melissa and Amanda, in a quiet, working-class neighborhood surrounded by dense woods and winding roads. His mother, Marianne, worked in the local school district as a paraprofessional, assisting special needs students. His father, Michael, was a maintenance employee for the same district, a steady job that kept the family comfortable, if not affluent. It was an ordinary middle-class upbringing, family dinners, small-town routines. But beneath that appearance of normalcy, a different story was unfolding. As a kid, Kohberger was bright, but socially awkward. Teased for his weight, his speech, and the uncomfortable way he hovered at the edges, Kohberger did not fit in with his classmates. By middle school, he was isolated and obese. Peers reported that he was bullied for his weight and his off-putting demeanor. Bullying, a word we hear frequently in news stories about someone accused of a mass murder. Longitudinal research into the effects of bullying have revealed that victims of bullying as kids have elevated rates of depression, anxiety, suicidality, and poor socioeconomic outcomes decades later, meaning well into their adult life. In an article in the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology, and Neuroscience, researchers write, and I quote, "Existing research indicates that A, being bullied in childhood is associated with distress and symptoms of mental health problems. B, the consequences of childhood bullying victimization can persist up to midlife and, in addition to mental health, can impact physical and socioeconomic outcomes." During these years, Kohberger wrote online about feeling blank, without emotion, like an organic robot. He talked about doing things.
Well, he's feeling a whole lot now. He's mad about them bruised bananas. Isn't there a song about bananas? What is that song? I forget. I'm going to think about it.
Without remorse. These are not the words of a typical teenager. They are a window into detachment and psychopathy, a genetic personality disorder, a subtext of the broader clinical name, antisocial personality disorder. I find it very interesting as well as significant and enlightening that he would recognize at only 14 years old that he, quote, lacked remorse. Considering what we now know he did in Idaho slightly over a decade later. I find it significant because we rarely see that kind of insight verbalized by youthful offenders who have not yet committed a crime, or at least that we know of. Why would he say that about himself? How would he know he did not feel remorse that other people felt about something they did? Had he been torturing animals and no one knew but him? And he came to see that he was supposed to feel bad about it, but did not? Maybe. Detachment.
I don't think he was messing with the animals.
Withdrawal from others and one's surroundings can become a refuge and a weapon. If you do not feel connected to people, you can convince yourself they're not fully real. And that is dangerous ground. Around this time, Bryan is also diagnosed with visual snow.
No, he's
That's
not.
a very rare
No. Okay, we're going to pause it right there. He was not diagnosed. Candice. Miss Candice. That was a self-diagnosis. Okay? And I have visual snow too now. I just got it all of a sudden. So everyone put that on my medical chart.
Neurological condition that makes the world look like it is covered in static.
And I only say this because if he had the visual snow, it would have came up in court. Ann Taylor would have used that to for her whole being. That would have been her whole case. He's got visual snow, but he's got visual snow, but he's got visual snow. I could hear her saying that 100 times.
Tiny flickering dots that never go away, like the grain of an old, untuned television. For those who experience it, the visual noise can overlay everything they see. Faces, text, even the night sky, creating a constant, shimmering distortion. It often appears alongside tinnitus. That is the persistent ringing or humming in the ears that has no external source. Together, the two conditions can make silence and stillness impossible. It is as though your vision is alive with static and your hearing is filled with noise.
We've seen him sit for hours on end and not move a muscle. He's good.
And the noise is usually a high-pitched ringing. For someone already struggling to fit in, that sensory overload can become unbearable. The need to quiet the noise, to impose order on an uncontrollable world, can drive a person to extremes. In late adolescence, the bullying becomes too much, and Kohberger takes radical steps to change himself. He commences a strict diet and exercise regime and sheds over 100 pounds in less than a year. He becomes strictly vegan and embraces rigid routines. To the outside world, it looks like great self-discipline. But inside Bryan, it may be an eating disorder driven by a compulsion, one of the evil twins known as obsessive-compulsive disorder. According to Psychology Today,
I have that.
Quote, obsessions and
What's she trying to say? I've got that. Chronically, you better be nice with this.
compulsions are the two central features of OCD. According to the DSM-5, obsessions are persistent, unwanted thoughts, urges, or images that cause distress and that the individual tries to suppress or counteract. In short, they are not pleasurable thoughts in any way, and the afflicted in no way wants to act on them.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there for a second there too. FBI agent, special agent, criminal profiler, Candice DeLong. I've talked about this with my counselor and my psychiatrist. I'm just going to tell you right now, mine's cleanliness. Things got to be clean around. It's just got to be clean around me, right? But it's not something that I hate to do. It's something that I find enjoyment in doing. Like, I like the fact that my forks have to be in a certain spot. And I'm one of them people. Why do you have to tell people with OCD that we can't do that? Like, maybe it just makes us happy that we have to have our fork there. Just leave us alone. But yeah, I'm right. We don't run around acting like damn idiots. My dog's back here scratching her way to, I guess, the ground level because she's going with the other one's passed out. I wish you guys could see a picture of her.
For example, a loving, doting grandmother begins to obsess about stabbing her beloved infant grandchild, or a young woman in love begins to obsess about killing her boyfriend. The thoughts are very disturbing to them. They are unpleasant and produce intense anxiety, not sexual or sadistic pleasure. These obsessions do not lead to harming others. Compulsions are repetitive behaviors or mental acts that the individual performs in response to an obsession, with the goal of neutralizing the threat or alleviating distress. For example, someone might lock the door and go to bed and get up 3 times to check to see that the door is locked. Every time they get up and check that door, make sure it's locked, their anxiety reduces. Obsessions or compulsions must impair an aspect of daily functioning, be fairly time-consuming, and not be due to another mental health condition or substance use for the diagnosis of OCD. However, it is critically important to point out that OCD obsessions about hurting people are in no way associated with the desire to actually harm others. Tens of millions of people have varying degrees of OCD and would never hurt a flea, while only someone with both OCD and antisocial personality disorder, such as Bryan Kohberger, might end up acting out their fantasy of murder. After graduating from high school in 2013, Kohberger enrolls at the Monroe Career and Technical Institute. Within a year, he drops out. His life begins to unravel, and he becomes addicted to heroin. Why heroin? Well, it is an opioid, which means it is a depressant, a downer, unlike cocaine or speed, which are stimulants, also known as uppers. Perhaps the heroin brought him a sense of peace and escapism that calmed him, stopped the intrusive obsessions, allowed him to enjoy moments of tranquility and nothingness. And that stopped his mind from the visual snow, tinnitus, and violent fantasies that consumed his waking thoughts. In 2014, police are called to the family home after his father, Michael, reports that his son has stolen his sister's phone. He is arrested on misdemeanor theft charges. This event is
right around the same time that he's having the visual snow. He's doing drugs. And he was doing heroin. So if you're doing heroin, I know I'm saying that weird. I'm doing it on purpose. That can cause hallucinations. And I think our boy here, he was hallucinating. Because he also said, after this year, I won't be with my parents to sit at the dinner table any longer. Like, what are you talking about, dude? You're going to be 15 years old. Where are you going next year?
Followed by a family intervention that ultimately saves Bryan. With treatment and support, he gets clean and sober, and the record of his crime is erased from his permanent record. In 2015, Kohberger takes a job as a security officer for the Pleasant Valley School District, the same district where his parents work. It is a job that offers structure and proximity to the familiar, but his focus has already shifted to something more intriguing: the study of the human mind. Kohberger enrolls at Northampton Community College, earning an associate degree in psychology in 2018. From there, he transfers to DeSales University, a small Catholic institution in Center Valley, Pennsylvania. He studies under Dr. Catherine Ramsland, a renowned forensic psychologist and former guest on Killer Psyche. She is well known for her work on serial killers, in particular Dennis Rader, also known as BTK, and The Criminal Mind. Ramsland's books, The Mind of a Murderer and How to Catch a Killer, become guideposts for Bryan's growing interest in violent offender behavior.
Yeah, you notice how we never heard from her anymore? They dropped the gag order, and then, like, she wasn't supposed to be out talking or something. She still wasn't supposed to be talking. I don't know. But they did something where they dropped it, and she came out talking. She was swinging. She came out the door swinging. And then all of a sudden she did 2 interviews and then shut her mouth and was like, boop. I wonder if she's waiting on Bryan to reach out. And I wonder if he will. I wonder if he will actually give that to her, or if he'll go to somebody else. I hear, Titanium Built's a good author. So
Kohberger's choice of majors would not be the first time a budding killer studied psychology. Many others have done so as well. For example, Ted Kaczynski. My opinion
He's
on that,
attractive.
they want to learn why they think and feel the things they think and feel. Are they searching for answers to gain insight into themselves, or perhaps validation that they are not alone?
Yeah, I mean, he had his degree in psychology. He couldn't analyze himself. That's what I don't get. I don't know how to say it, but do crazy people know that they're crazy? Because I'm a crazy person, but I know I'm crazy. So I mean, I guess I'm answering my own questions. It's making me even crazier. But like, do you think that people that have like antisocial personality disorder and OCD, for instance, do you think that they know that they have both of those and they just choose to not seek to get help? Or do you think that they don't know that they have those disabilities and they're just going around their, their life, just doing the damn thing? Because I knew the minute that I was feeling depressed. I knew the minute I was feeling anxious, OCD, PTSD, I got them all. You name them, ADHD, I got them all. All the abbreviations. But I guess I don't have antisocial personality. But I knew, like, hey, I need to go to see somebody. That's all. I mean, I just wonder if he knew, like, he needed to see somebody. Maybe he should have did that before he went and murdered 4 innocent people.
Or perhaps they are looking to self-diagnose and seek help to avoid a life of mayhem and misery. Or maybe it is the opposite of that, and they are looking to learn from the mistakes their predecessors made so that they do not get caught when they kill. Bryan earns his bachelor's degree in 2020 and his master's in criminal justice in 2022. His academic interests begin to crystallize around forensic psychology, the intersection of fantasy, violent behavior, and crime. That spring, he posts an unusual research survey online. He asked people who have committed crimes to describe what they felt before, during, and after their offenses. It is an academic exercise, but the questions, well, they read like something else entirely. Rehearsals, preparation, movement, escape. There's no doubt at all in my mind that Bryan Kohberger was seeking validation for the fantasies he was having about killing and was seeking information as well. By August of 2022, Kohberger begins a PhD program in criminology at Washington State University. In addition to his own studies, he serves as a teaching assistant. But by most accounts, he does not excel in the role. He is exacting, overly structured. Students describe him as condescending, grading harshly, lecturing unnecessarily, and asserting authority rather than inspiring inquiry. No surprise there. Effective teachers are people persons, and Bryan Kohberger was anything but a people person. Some female students report to his superiors that he makes them feel uncomfortable. He stares too long and grades unreasonably harsh compared to males in the class. Faculty, take note. And by late October, just 2 weeks before the murders, Kohberger was warned about his conduct and job performance. Kohberger's inability to connect with women was also a persistent and unsettling feature of his social life. One woman who went on a date with him described feeling so uncomfortable that she actually faked being sick just to make him leave. When he followed her into the bathroom, she pretended to vomit until he finally left, only to later receive a text from him thanking her for the date and complimenting her on her, get ready for this, great birthing hips.
Imagine Kohberger sitting in jail and hearing about this and him being like, damn, that's what happened with that Tinder girl?
Not exactly what most women would consider romantic. So, was Bryan just a 4-star jerk? Or was something else going on? Yes, it was. Bryan was autistic, but this diagnosis was not made until after the murders. After he was arrested and charged with the murders, Bryan was given a psychiatric evaluation and several more disorders were discovered. They included autism, OCD, and ADHD.
But this was he was just diagnosed with these in the beginning of 2025. So we have to remember that's a key point. He didn't have any of these before 2025. He was not diagnosed. So we don't know when he got them, but he was not diagnosed until 2025. No two ways about it.
As well as an eating disorder. I am usually skeptical of diagnoses made after the fact, especially if they're being made by a psychiatrist hired by the defense. However, in this case, some of them ring very, very true. For example, the autism diagnosis. The main characteristics of this disorder in men includes impaired social communication and interaction difficulties.
He was fine.
Difficulty reading
He was fine. He asked the two girls for their phone number at the pool party.
verbal cues, and repetitive behaviors and interest. This explains so much when it comes to Bryan's behavior. His inability to make friends, his absolute awkwardness in dating, and even the trouble he had with his students. It all fits with his autism diagnosis.
Blame it on
Autism is a neurobiological disorder, not a mental illness or mental disorder. And anyone that has it was born with it. So, what causes autism? It appears that genetics play a significant role. Another factor that contributes to it is the environment during pregnancy, at birth, and in early childhood. Scientific research also has revealed some environmental and biological factors, one being the age of the parents when the child is conceived, a second factor being prenatal exposure to certain chemicals or infections, and lastly, complications during birth. All of those things can increase the risk of autism. For decades, many people have thought that autism has something to do with violence, possibly because some offenders involved in mass murder events were reported to be autistic. However, the findings of a 2018 study published in the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry revealed otherwise. Child psychiatrist Dr. David Retu described those findings of the Stockholm Youth Cohort Study in an article he published in Psychology Today in 2018. He says it does not appear that autism on its own is a risk factor for becoming violent against other people. This is to say, there is no direct link to autism and violence. One thing is for sure, it is unlikely that anyone will develop autism later in life, though that is when the diagnosis may be made, as it was for Bryan Kohberger. But Bryan exhibits traits consistent with a cornucopia of disorders, among them antisocial personality disorder, aka ASPD. The two hallmarks of ASPD are that the person does not feel empathy towards any living thing, nor do they feel.
Nope, he's got that. He's got that. He's got that. In my humblest opinions, He loves his mother. He loves his father, father. And he damn as well sure as hell loves his dog. Because during that interview, just like Chad Doberman, is my dog okay? Don't shoot my dog. You know, that's what Chad Doberman said. Don't shoot my dog. Even though he just shot his 3 kids. But Bryan Kohberger said the same thing. He said, how's my parents? Is my dog okay? So I think that he loves his dog.
Guilt when they cause harm. Of the general population, less than 2% have this disorder, and most of them are not violent. But the percentage of convicted criminals that have it is upwards of around 35 to 40%. Why is that? Well, it's easy for them to commit crimes because they do not feel guilt the way the rest of us do, nor do they experience fear the way normal people do.
Or do you think that they're trying to get on some sort of like drugs, you know, through the prison, and they're just making up the symptoms, you know, in order to look like they are, you know, having all these mental health, you know, disorders so that they can get some drugs while in prison, even though they're not going to get anything good? I think that could be it too. I think we need to take that into account.
When we consider what Bryan said about himself when he was only 14, that he felt blank, without emotion, like an organic robot, and he talked about doing things without remorse, the diagnosis of ASPD fits Bryan like a glove. Psychologically, this pattern mirrors behavior seen in members of the incel community, men who consider themselves involuntarily celibate. They believe they are entitled to women's attention, but resent women for denying it to them. And some of these men honor other men who kill women. In a 2018 BBC radio interview, the founder of the first incel community stated that it was a website she, yes, I said she, started in 1997 for lonely people struggling to find love.
Oh,
she had no idea it would become linked to a totally different community, one of hate and anger directed at women, which would ultimately lead to the deaths of several innocent people. Over time, it morphed into something else, a site where angry men would vent their rage at women. One of the first times was in 2014. Elliot Roger, a 22-year-old college student, went on a shooting and stabbing rampage through the college town where he lived, killing 6 people, then himself. He left behind a 141-page rant wherein he explored his own deep-seated loathing of women and his profound frustration about his own virginity. But that wasn't the end of it. He became a hero to the incel community, as did other men who killed women. After his arrest, Kohberger received widespread support on incel sites for killing the students. It seems like Bryan embodied a contradiction. A man who craved connection, but also harbored simmering anger toward women who dismissed him. No one is overjoyed at being rejected, but most of us learn to blow it off. We don't feel wounded forever or take it personally, but that toxic mix of entitlement, rejection, and resentment can, in some cases, fester into a deep-seated rage, like a tiny ember morphing into an all-consuming conflagration, destroying anything and anyone in its path. In the weeks before the murders, Kohberger's phone places him near the house at King Road on multiple late-night drives. This was not a coincidence. This was reconnaissance. In profiling terminology, it is called hunting behavior. Predatory planning is not spontaneous, it is iterative. Watch, refine, return. When the fantasy hardens into a plan, crossing the threshold to harm gets easier. And his digital footprint revealed that even as he stalked his victims in the real world, he was feeding the same dark compulsions online. When investigators examined Bryan Kohberger's digital devices, what they found erased any lingering notion that these murders were an impulsive act. His laptop and phone history revealed a deep and disturbing fixation on sexual violence and domination. He had repeatedly searched for and viewed pornography depicting rape and non-consensual sex, and he often did this late at night, and sometimes in the same time windows as his surveillance drives through the King Road neighborhood. Yes, I said that. While he was surveilling and planning the murder, he was watching violent porn. So here was a man who never had consenting sexual intimacy with anyone, not even close. But he was so consumed with sexual desire and his fantasies fused with violence and the need to control the woman he coveted that he was prepared to take her by force and brutally kill the object of his desire for having the audacity to not want him. And she never even knew him. I think it was after Madison.
Sorry there, bro, but that's the truth.
Because she was stabbed first. And there is evidence that he had been to her place of work a number of times. He vented his rage and lust on her, just like in the violent rape porn he watched. I do not think he anticipated her best friend Kaylee being in the same bed with her that night, so he killed her too. She was collateral damage, as were Xana and Ethan. Though neither young woman showed obvious signs of sexual assault, Bryan Kohberger probably was sexually aroused before and during the attack and climaxed in his pants. He got what he came for, but probably not in the way he wanted. The fact that he dropped a critical piece of evidence and left it at the scene, the sheath, after so much planning, tells me that the actual event was way more than he could handle. He was rattled, distracted, maybe overwhelmed with adrenaline, and did not notice the fatal mistake he had made. Fatal for him. Most, if not all, of his sexual fantasies involve control, domination, and humiliation of his victim. And on that dark and freezing cold night in Idaho, he lived out his sexual fantasy. I think he did not harm the roommate that stared him in the face on his way out because he was spent, too exhausted. His fantasy had been controlled. He didn't need to kill her. Another revealing insight into Bryan Kohberger can be found by looking at the serial killers he studied. Kohberger had extensively researched Harvey Glattman, who photographed and murdered his victims after binding them. Ted Bundy, who stalked and killed college women in the Pacific Northwest. And Danny Rawling, the Gainesville Ripper, who in 1990 murdered and sexually assaulted 4 college co-eds. The parallels were chilling.
That's not, that's insane. That's insane. Did you guys hear the first person they said? Because I didn't hear that person. I was trying to get it, but I couldn't hear him. So I'm going to go back like 30 seconds. Hopefully it's not further back.
Looking at the serial killers he studied. Kohberger had extensively researched Harvey Glattman, who photographed and murdered his victims after binding them. Ted Bundy, who stalked and killed college women in the Pacific Northwest. And Danny Rawling, the Gainesville Ripper, who in 1990 murdered and sexually assaulted 4 college co-eds. The parallels were chilling. Both Rawling and Kohberger targeted young students in college towns, entering their homes at night, attacking with knives, and leaving communities paralyzed by fear. These searches reveal not just morbid curiosity, but identification. Kohberger was not studying them as case studies. He was patterning himself after them. It is very possible that in Kohberger's mind, theory had become destiny. The only thing left was to prove it, to step out of the role of observer and into the scene itself. His fantasies were not enough. He needed to actually live his dream for maximum effect and enjoyment. On November 13th, he did just that. A sliding door, a staircase, a bedroom, and the kind of close quarters violence that leaves almost nothing but questions in its wake. Do I think if he had not been caught, he would have killed again? And do I think that the extensive amount of non-consensual violent rape porn he watched indicated that he also may have sexually assaulted future victims? Yes, I do. Fortunately for all of us, Bryan Kohberger was caught. He is a deeply flawed individual, and he is exactly where he needs to be until the day he dies.
Do you ever wish you could show your dog just how obsessed you are with them? You actually
Exactly where.
just the best friend.
As you shop.
After his arrest in December of 2022, Bryan Kohberger was extradited to Idaho, where he was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. Grief blanketed the University of Idaho community. Vigils lit up the campus, a memorial garden bloomed in tribute, and the King Roadhouse, so saturated with trauma, was ultimately demolished. An attempt to erase what could never be forgotten. Meanwhile, prosecutors began to assemble their case and a mosaic of evidence. The white Hyundai Elantra, the cell phone pings tracing his movements, the grainy surveillance footage, and the most damning piece of all, the DNA. As pretrial hearings unfolded, the focus shifted to forensic methods, digital evidence, and the looming question of whether prosecutors would seek the death penalty. Months stretched into years as the case moved slowly through the courts. Every motion dissected, every hearing televised, every face in the gallery haunted by the question of what justice could possibly look like. Then, in July of 2025, on the eve of what was expected to be a long and grueling trial, Bryan Kohberger shocked nearly everyone, including the victims' families, by accepting a plea deal negotiated without their prior consultation. The agreement spared him the death penalty in exchange for 4 consecutive life sentences without parole, plus 10 years for burglary. For the families who had braced themselves for a full capital trial, the decision felt abrupt. Justice delivered, but not on their terms. At the sentencing hearing, the emotion in the courtroom was overwhelming. One by one, parents, siblings, and friends delivered victim impact statements that spoke of the devastation he left behind. Throughout it all, Kohberger sat expressionless, his eyes fixed straight ahead, showing no sign of remorse. Kohberger was transferred to the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, where he now lives in near total isolation inside a small concrete cell 23 hours a day alone, with minimal privileges and constant surveillance. Once a man who studied the criminal mind, Bryan Kohberger now spends his life as one of its most chilling case studies. A silent, caged figure defined not by his intellect, but by the horror he created. Bryan Kohberger is 30 years old. If you like Killer Psyche, you can unlock exclusive episodes found nowhere else on Wondery Plus. Bryan Kohberger is 30 years calm. Updates on our senior producer.
In 19
Okay, it's over. I wasn't sure if it was over or not. Let me get myself up here. Sorry about that. Okay, there I am. Tom, this is real life. This is real. So yeah, probably for Nightbot. Yeah, they're making them do the handles. I think it's so that people can't people can't try to mimic creators. And that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I don't know. And you can actually see two of me. There I go. I still need to be more centered over on this camera, like the vertical one, but we'll get there. We'll get it there. I'm more straight here, so that's good. Now, I did look for the doorknob cover, but I couldn't find one for that kind of a doorknob. They just have like the ones for like the regular doorknobs. So if you see one, I'm looking for one. Or I'll have Reba make me something. I'm gonna have her. I'm gonna start. She's gonna start charging me. I was just thinking she can maybe make like a little sleeve to go over that. She made a sleeve for my phone, but I've been doing good with holding my phone ever since I got this new case. I have not dropped it, not once. Knock on wood. I probably will drop it now. But that was the podcast that I had for you guys. There's another one that I have. I think I still have it. What's this? This could be. No, this is my Anna stuff. That's my sign-in stuff for my. Oh, it might be behind this one. I have so many windows. It's so okay. This is from July 22nd, 2025. So it's a little bit older, but it's by I think Daily Mail. I want to say, but I haven't listened to it yet. I can listen to it and see what it's like, and then tell you guys. And then we also need to go through Bri stuff because we still haven't done that. And William, he came out with another video. We need to go over that. Then there was also another one I found. It's an hour and 40 minutes. And it came out back in 2023. But it's an hour and 40 minutes. That's a long podcast. And then is there anything else? I thought there was something else. I'm sure that there's other things that I have. I just have them in I have like an Idaho, I have like 4 folders for Idaho 4. And I don't want to like delete the stuff because you never know when you might need it. I don't know. That's what I'm like one of them people. I need to just like put it all on like a jump drive or what they're called. I don't even know what they're called. USB drive? Yeah, USB drive. I'm so not with technology. If you guys cannot tell, this is brought to you in part by Vincent because he's the one that helps me whenever I have he's the one that hooks everything up and keeps everything going on that side. So good, go me for him. And I think he's actually sleeping. poor guy. It has changed, it seems like. I think what it is it's like the holidays are here. I don't know. I think that's what it is, maybe. Or maybe people aren't into other cases. You know, maybe they're just not, like, maybe they were into Idaho and they're not into any other case but Idaho, right? And that's cool. That's fine. But let us know where you're at, because we loved you. We loved you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I know that some people have been busy with like family and stuff, though. That they've come in to the chat and like kind of told us like, hey, we're here, but we're not, we're not here. I'll tell him you said that. Made him throw his whole back out. He didn't even make my cookies tonight. So I figured it out. If you bring home a dessert that you have to make, Vincent will make it for you. If you don't make it right away, like if you wait 5 minutes, if he sees that box or anything that resembles that he can make some dessert out of something, he's gonna do it. He has made brownies and 2 cakes so far in the last week. His brownies were delicious. They were a little, not all the way down in the middle though, but we're not gonna talk about that. They were delicious. And then he did a cake, and what he does is he takes like the crust part off the cake. I don't know. He shaves it down. He just makes it look so good. And so then I came in with the cake. So I came in with the cake yesterday. So I was like, no, I came in with icing because we already had the cake mix. And then today I came home with cookie mix. I said, you ever make chocolate chip cookies? I said, I haven't made them since I was a kid with my mom. Like, I really haven't. And I was like, I mean, I can read a bag or whatever, right? But he's the cook around here, and I'm lucky. Like today, he was hungry. It was this morning, and he cooks me breakfast in bed every single day, like every day. If that's where I'm at, I'm getting breakfast in bed. If I'm not there, I better get my butt over there because that's where I want to be sitting and eating and watching my YouTube or something. But so today he was like, I'm hungry, and I was like, okay. Well, I thought he has mentioned ordering something. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I didn't say anything about it. And he's like, yeah, I kind of want a sausage like muffin. He doesn't like sausage muffins. I made him one 6 years ago, and he wouldn't touch pork ever since then. I guess he didn't like mine. I don't know what I did. Well, I have a thermometer for meat now. And he got up. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he managed to get up, but he did. He got up and he made himself one and then made me one. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be making this for you. We're both in the kitchen. Like, I could be doing this. But he's just sweet to not make me do that. He does have a brother, but he's taken. But he's older than me by 1 year. I'm going to keep saying that too, by 1 year, almost 1 year. Like, he was born November. I was born October. His brother they don't look a lot alike. Now that I'm thinking about it. His brother's like the slender, taller version. I don't know. Like, Vincent's more like built. Not like he's not fat. He's like built more like, I don't know, just stronger, like strong. And he's a little shorter. I think his brother's like 5'10". He's probably 5'9" or something. So not like a whole much difference, but yeah, his brother's dating a really nice girl. I really like her. They've been dating since I think before me and Vincent started dating. So, man, them boys stay with them ladies for a long time. So I think that's all I got for you guys. My dogs are trying to come back in because I stood up for a second and I like walked out there to see if Vincent was, asleep, or I thought I fell asleep on the couch or something. And I was like, no, on the couch, where's he at? So I was looking for him and they went out and now they want to come back in. Is she really? I didn't know that. I knew she was older, but I didn't know if she was that much older. Well, Tell Boo Thing, I'm going to say baby girl, tell Boo Thing I said hello. And that we miss her around here. Vincent isn't here. He's not. He checked out. Tom, he hurt his back last night making a cake. I never thought I'd be saying that about Vincent. I guess he dropped something. He went to pick it up and he did something to his back, but he really did, because he like every time he like just moves, he's in pain. I'm like, so today I'm always in pain, and so like I'm like, is this a boy pain or is this like a real pain? You know what I mean? Because some of you guys act like, you get sick and you act like it's the end of the world. So that's how my dad used to be. He never got sick very often, but when he did, oh my gosh, it was like the last. Nothing worse could happen to him. Like he would have a little cold and he'd be like, I feel like I'm dying. So I was kind of thinking that's what Vincent was doing at first, but he didn't. He didn't like stop. He didn't stop saying ow. So I felt so bad for him. Oh, sorry. I thought Boo was. I was like, I knew Boo was a little bit older than you, but I didn't know that much. Well, who's the new girl? Ashley, right? Me. I wish I had an Ashley or a Vincent. Tempests, they're few and far between. I never met one. I've never met one. I've never met an Ashley either, but you know what I mean. I've never met a Vincent before, and I'll never meet another one. So I gotta make sure he's in tippy top shape. Hey, Kathleen, welcome in. I gotta make sure he stays in tip top health, because I already told him unfortunately for us, I already have, I've already got the wheelchair, ready for me and stuff like it. So he needs to be cool and like stay healthy. So today I was like making sure that I was like helping him to like where he wanted to be more comfortable. I got the TV on for him. I got his legs propped up. I got his drinks. I got his phone. I got his chargers. I got his computer. I mean, I was doing the whole thing. And he normally does that for me. So I was happy to do it for him. So, but I am going to say something next time. I'll be like, remember that time I helped you and you weren't feeling good? Hey, Exquisite. Okay, yeah. Let me pull up. Let's pull up the trial part, because he'll be going on trial soon. But basically, in January 2023, Anna Walsh went missing from her. She was supposedly like going on this trip from Massachusetts to, I believe, Washington, D.C. But instead, her husband killed her, dismembered her, and put her in trash receptacles all around. He was also known for shiesty practices, trying to get money from people, selling art that wasn't, real art, things of that nature. There's a lot to the case, but I'm giving you like the real rough draft. So basically, the cops have found out that there was no car service that ever picked up Anna that day, and there was no plane ticket or whatever for her to be in DC. They had dinner together, and they had friends over the night before, which was New Year's Eve. And then in the early morning hours, I believe she called her mother. And I think that was the day. It was either that day or the day before she had asked her mom to come and see her. Like she said it was important. And her mom was like, I'm not able to come right now. But so that was part of it. I'm trying to think. There's more than that. I'm trying to think, but yeah, basically that's the I was just thinking that's the gist of it. Kind of like a MAMTA, yeah. And he's actually going to court. He's not even going to court till like 2026, October. That's what, October 2026. I'm like, hello, like that's forever and a day. That means her case is going to be like 3 years. That would be 3 years old. Ladybug, that was a great like comparison. That like MAMTA Kappa, we bought, yeah. I was going to see if we could find that. I wasn't looking at this article right here. Oh, it wasn't this one. It was something. It was this one I was looking at. Okay, let's see what this one is. Oh, give us money to continue reading. Oh, I don't even know who you are, Patriot Ledger. So it's going to be Massachusetts versus Brian Walsh. They said that there's going to be some familiar names. Like if you were following the Karen Reed trial, a lot of those names are going to carry over, I guess, to this case. I didn't follow Karen Reed's case like that to know who was in the building with her or whatever. But yeah, so let me see what they're saying here. Oh, whoops, what I do? She getting sentenced? I thought they were sentencing to business again. It looks like she does for assault behind bars. Is this a prank? November 29th. Shabusiness. Serving a life sentence for the murder of Shad. Okay, it says, in October, Shabusiness pled no contest to a reduced charge of disorderly conduct just days ahead of her scheduled trial. She had been charged with battery after an incident behind bars. Man. I'm surprised anybody represent her after all the time that she's like went after somebody. She is psychotic. Okay, now back to Bryan. Okay. Because his trial starts December 1st. So that's like Monday. That's what it's supposed to start. But it's like that's what they're scheduled for, December 1st. And then I know that there's a few different places that are going to be streaming it like through them. So I can, like bigger places so that we can stream it if we want to watch that. If you guys want to watch, we can totally do that. I don't mind waking up early and coming in here or not coming in here because we won't be streaming in here. We'd be streaming in the bedroom. But I don't mind getting out of bed and going over to the chair and streaming. Just kidding. I would get ready. But I wouldn't mind, doing that. But I miss actually watching a trial. It's been a while since we've watched a trial. So if you guys are into that, we can. Or we could always do, nightly recaps, things of that nature. If we did do the trial, we would probably do nightly lives over either this case, just like I cannot talk tonight. Go back over everything we kind of heard during trial for that day and break it down for the people that can't really be there for the day lives. But whatever you guys want to do, I do have it on the community page. So if you want to go over there, look at my post, you can vote yay or nay on the Brian Walsh coverage. I do have a lot of timelines and stuff like that for this case though. So I can get you guys all up to date. I also have heard a podcast. It's like multiple episodes, but they're shorter. Some of them are real short and it goes deep into this case. So if that's something that you're into, like I said, make sure you go over to the community tab after the live and you post, or you can comment under this live and I'll just make sure I look at this live as well. Do that. Cause if you hit the like, hit the like if you like this kind of content. If you like Idaho 4, or if you like me, how about that? I forgot to turn on my light back over here earlier tonight. So it's probably pretty dark, but it'll be okay. We'll be all right. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get my blanket off the floor over here and then go see what the dogs want because they're out there. They're wondering what's going on. Why did I not let them back in? So good night. Have a sweet dreams and be safe. Be safe, everybody. I did put we are watching the new Murdaugh documentary that came out on Hulu. It's an 8-part series. It's freaking fantastic so far. I'm on episode 4. I had the first 2 episodes already uploaded to the Patreon. But if you guys haven't watched that, if you guys don't have Hulu, go over to Patreon, check it out. It's really good. The music is really good in it, actually. And the characters are good. Like, they actually look like the guy. I don't know who's playing Alec Murdaugh. I don't know the actor. Whoever he is, he looks just like him. Like, just like him. I mean, it's uncanny. It's uncanny. So I'm really interested in posting some more of those episodes for you because I like watching them myself. And I also did a live over there today. I didn't know I had that feature. So if you guys aren't subscribed over there, like with the I guess notifications on, make sure you have them on. I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure that it's in your settings, and you guys will be alerted if I do go live over there. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. This live was a little bit of a longer one. We haven't done a 2-hour live in a while. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you so much. Hit the like on your way out, and I'll see you guys all in the next live. Bye, guys.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just